Hello, my name is Karen Mans, and I serve as Assistant Superintendent in Granite Falls School District. And with me this evening is Ms. Joelle Wright, and she's a leader in our district who has been helping with planning for the Granite Falls Virtual Academy. And we are just really looking forward to sharing with you some updates that we hope will be helpful to you. We're so glad that you're here with us this evening. For our presentation, we'll start with an overview of the program, and we'll talk a little bit about the two models that we're looking at for this school year. And then we will discuss the curriculum that's provided, the role of the learning coach, and then also how to enroll. As we get started this evening, I just want to acknowledge the fact that we as a community are dealing with this pandemic since last spring, and this has been a challenging time for our families. And we appreciate your flexibility, the partnership, the communication that's been going on as we've been working to serve your students in the best way possible. Obviously, if we could do so, we would wish to have your students here with us in school if that were healthy, just to be in our traditional learning model. That really is ideal. And we understand and just want to recognize the fact that looking at different models is frustrating and challenging for families, just trying to figure out how to best do this. What we've been doing is listening to families and working to come up with solutions that are the best within the situations that we have going on in terms of health directives. And so we really are offering two learning models for this upcoming school year. One is a blended model, and the other is the Granite Falls Virtual Academy. The blended model is really the more traditional school experience. The intent is that as we are able to do so in terms of health directives, we would be returning to school. The children would be in their classrooms, in their desks, at the tables with the teachers. However, given the guidance and directives at this point, we're beginning with remote learning in this blended model. And then as we're able to, there may be small groups of students returning, and we hope eventually, as soon as possible, when healthy, when we're able to do so health-wise, we'll be together at the schools again. In the blended model, the family does play a role. Obviously, the children are at home or at childcare or, with a family member or some sort of a shared arrangement if they're at the elementary or the younger ages. However, the teachers will be working with the children throughout the regular school day. So we'll have a bell schedule as we've had in the past when the school day begins, and children will be getting online to meet their teacher, to start the day. And at the elementary level, there will be a variety of subjects that are taught each day, just like they are in the regular school. There'll be a reading time, a writing time, math. There'll be some time for recess or, movement activities. There'll be a break for lunch. So the teacher will be providing direct instruction via Zoom to the children, and then there'll be some work time between, just like in the classroom where they're working individually, and then there'll be some time when the teacher works with small groups. So the teacher is heavily involved in the blended model, and the family is a support to ensure that the child is, or the child care is a support to ensure that the child is able to log on and is able to participate actively. So that's the more traditional model, the blended model. We were hearing from some families that they really were looking for something that was more online for whatever reason that might be. They really wanted a purely online component or program available. And that's what we've been working for months to create. And we now have the go-ahead to roll that out to you. And that is the Granite Falls Virtual Academy. And 100% of the learning occurs at home, even when it's safe to go back into the classroom. With the Virtual Academy, we continue with the remote learning. There is a teacher involved, but the teacher is not working with the children throughout the whole school day from the start of the day till the weekend, subject by subject. The teacher instead is monitoring the children's learning as they're working online and maybe directing that learning, maybe scheduling an opportunity to do some extra help or some extra challenge. And the teacher would be setting regular scheduled meetings with you to check in on your child's progress and to set goals and look at those next steps. The parents are more actively involved in the virtual academy. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but they are monitoring and observing the learning. And one of the other major differences between the two models is that in the blended model, there really is a bell schedule. It's like going to school. Say, for instance, school starts, whatever that might be, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then moves through the school day. In the virtual academy, you're able to make choices. There's some flexibility there. Perhaps there's an appointment in the morning, so you're doing more of the learning in the afternoon. Sometimes you may want to pick it up on a Saturday. So there's flexibility involved in how the virtual academy runs, and that's designed to meet your family's needs. Before we move into the more detailed part of the presentation, we just wanted to share a few terms that I found helpful as we first began planning this work. One is the term learning coach, which you'll hear in the videos. The learning coach is really the adult in the home that will be providing the educational support. At the elementary level, especially at the lower elementary level, it's about half of the time where somebody is working directly with the child and supporting, and then there's some independent time as well. And this learning coach does not need to be a parent. It could be the grandparent. It could be someone else in the home who is available to the child. It could be an older sibling, but there's someone there to help the student. We also use the terms synchronous learning and asynchronous learning, and it's helpful just in terms of thinking ahead. Synchronous learning is learning together at the same time. So in the blended model, all the children will be working with the teacher at the same time. Asynchronous learning doesn't need to occur at the same time and place. And so the teachers will be able to monitor the children's learning, even if they're doing that in the evening one day. The virtual academy includes both synchronous, those meetings with the teachers, and then asynchronous is kind of the most of the learning occurs in an asynchronous way. So as I mentioned, when the COVID-19 first emerged, we just began doing research and talking with people and looking at the law and figuring out with our families what would be best for our students. And so we've been planning and planning since then, and that's when we've come up with these two options. And the Granite Falls Virtual Academy includes a base curriculum, and we'll be seeing a little bit more about that a bit later, but it's customized by our teachers to match what's going on at the blended model. And the instruction is delivered online, so the students will be engaged with a computer learning online, but it is facilitated by our teachers in our district. And I must say, at the lower grades, the students will be doing things that are not online. We'll be talking a bit later about some of the resource packets that are available for the children, so they can do some journaling, they can do some hands-on work. So there will be some on the computer and some hands-on. And then it includes remote learning, and it keeps pace with the blended model. So say at the quarter times, we'll be able to shift. If for some reason you decide at the quarter that, gosh, I really want to be back at blended learning because they're going back into the school, you'll be able to move your child over and transition seamlessly. Of course, if you want to stay with the Virtual Academy for the entire year, we're designed and ready to welcome you there. The program itself is accredited, and we use state-approved resources, and it provides learning for students in kindergarten through 12th grade. We'll be doing some separate informational evenings for preschool families. This program is really designed for kindergarten and up. And I must also mention, we do have a multi-age program in our elementary school, Monte Cristo, and that program is self-contained. We just wouldn't be able to move the teachers back and forth between the two. So families who've chosen multi-age would be enjoying the community-based approach in that classroom environment through the blended model. We use a quality curriculum. I mentioned before, flexible learning opportunities, learning at different times of the day, the pace you want. Maybe students want to dig into math for a full day because they're just on a roll, and then take a look at reading a little bit later in the day. And it's family assisted to serve home-based learners. We have some families who are wanting to stay home because of health issues, others who may enjoy sort of the homeschooling approach. There may be some things that you want to infuse as a family that are important to your values, and you can do that because you'll be guiding the direction of that learning at home. In terms of, time of the day and focus each day. And students do receive personalized support from the teachers, and they're very committed. And then we really want to have a connection. So together, your child will learn, grow, and achieve. So it's really designed to be a partnership with you. So I mentioned briefly that there really is a continuum of families who might be interested in this program. And this presentation is really just to give you information to see if this might be a fit for you. It could be families that just really feel like it's safer to stay at home. Maybe you would just like to be the primary instructor, but you want to have the support of a teacher from the school district. And then, as we mentioned before, there may be parents who enjoy creating their own schedule. There may be things that you want to do first thing in the morning, and then you want to move into the learning a little bit later after you've done some of those learning pieces at home. You may want to do the learning at different times of the day. Here's a picture of some of our teachers from last spring when we just couldn't see the children in person. And so they were holding up signs for a drive-by parade. But it will be the same team of instructors that you know and trust. And they just care so deeply about the children. Those of you who've been in our district know that well. And they also bring strong knowledge and skills. So they're able to really support your child's learning.
The Granite Falls Virtual Academy offers the same core courses that a student would receive during the blended model. Our students will be learning in the language arts, math, science, social studies, art, music, PE, and health. And for our grades 3 through 5, they'll also be learning technology courses. Our virtual academy teachers are going to be creating personalized learning plans to provide the appropriate amount of academic content, as well as learning that is based on our standards for our students. This is going to be comparable to what a student might learn in a typical school day through our blended model. The quantity of work will be the same. However, you can learn at your own pace while maintaining that same rigorous plan for those rich learning experiences. Families are going to be expected to invest a substantial amount of time and effort into the monitoring and supporting of their elementary students while participating in our virtual academy. This is a program that is wonderful for its flexibility, but it does involve a higher level of parent involvement. Right here, you can see that some of the core components of what the Virtual Academy can offer is that flexible schedule, quality teachers, home-based learning, and that's those same engaging academics. However, some of the things that set us apart is with a flexible schedule, like Dr. Manns mentioned, you can work around a parent's work schedule potentially. Let's say you need to do part of the learning in the morning, and then maybe you finish your learning for the day in the evening. However, the same quantity of work will be happening for your student. As the elementary level, this will involve a lot more parent involvement to manage that, but it could be the parent or anyone who provides that learning coach role. The Granite Falls teachers are wonderful and are going to be actively involved in the planning for your child's learning, but they will take a little bit of a backseat role when it comes to the actively facilitation of the learning that happens on a day-to-day basis. They will connect with families regularly, provide feedback for your work so you know how you're doing and performing towards meeting standards, but they are going to be not engaged in every single activity that you could do during your coursework for the day. That will be the family's choice on how they're going to facilitate that learning. The great part of this is that it is all at home, and so you can create a nice space for your child to do their learning, and you have that flexibility of what that might look like, including any engaging activities that you might infuse into rich learning life experiences for your students to have in their school year this year.
This is an example of tools that may be needed. Most of the items on the list are common household supplies, and then some are the types of things that are usually purchased before school begins. And just to mention, our community coalition is gathering extras from our school supply list for families who might need some help with resources. We wanted to mention too, last spring we used weekly packet delivery for those of you who are in our school district. The Granite Falls Virtual Academy will not function with a weekly packet that goes home. A little bit later, you'll be have the opportunity to watch a video that describes some printing of materials. We are actually putting those together in little booklets for you. So students will be learning online, doing projects, and then at certain points, because they're children learning at the elementary level, they'll be doing some writing, or they'll be doing some marking on some types of paper. Those resources will be provided to you so that you won't need to use your copier, and that will supplement the kinds of things that they're learning online, but just making sure that they have a chance to do that type of learning as well. We do provide a device, a computer for each of the students in our school district, and that's available regardless of income level. And we'll be sending home information soon about pickup days and how that all works. And we wanted to mention that because it's an online program, we really do want to ensure that support you, that you do have internet access, because the learning will happen online. And then if there are some questions about that, please let us know to see if there are ways that we can help with that. As we move into the next slide, we wanted to share with you that our online program is designed for all children. We welcome our students with disabilities, those with 504 plans, and so there are a number of accommodations that are available even directly on the online platform, and others that can be customized with your team. So for students who are on an IEP or a 504 plan, the team meets regularly, as you know, and they discuss the best way to serve the students. And then some of these items are available for all children, and that'll be, again, something that the teacher who works with your family will discuss. So we have a lot of information to share, and for this presentation, we're staying more at the overview level, and then we have a frequently asked questions document. And for students who are families who are registering, we'll go into more detail. But we thought it would be helpful to at least see a video that describes a little bit about how the program works here at the introductory level. So we'll move into that next.
Each and every lesson will begin with stating objectives and clear goals for your students and teachers. Our kindergarten through 5th grade ELA content is developed around the balanced literacy framework, with word work, reading, writing, listening, and speaking all the way to assessment embedded in the content. Students will work seamlessly across the different strands that are embedded in the daily lessons. Activities will vary across the language arts strands, allowing students to be fully engaged and interested. From videos for introduction to new concepts and direct instruction, to interactive practice and games, to embedded literature-rich content with multiple opportunities for students to write and even record their fluency for practice. In our math courses, you'll see the natural progression of lessons for students. Attention-grabbing videos, games, direct instruction videos, opportunities to practice are even given to the students before moving them into an offline activity to assess their proficiency. Our science courses grab the students' interest by inviting them into a world of hands-on activities, videos, and experiments. Students are also continuing literary development and are given activities to write across the curriculum to show their understanding of new concepts being taught. Extension activities also allow students the opportunity to have a choice and voice in their learning activities by letting them explore what interests them in guided activities. Social studies courses help bring the real-world application to our students in the 21st century for where we are today in relation to what was. Here's another opportunity for students to integrate literacy across the curriculum. Students constantly interact with the content to make real-world connections. Extension activities and opportunities for project-based learning really give teachers and students the opportunity to personalize the learning space. Consumable workbooks with offline activities and practice are available for our elementary core courses. These same activities are also embedded into the online courses to access as PDF documents. Our K-5 courses are materials light, and most items can be found directly in the home or blended.
So we talked earlier about the role of the learning coach, and we're going to just look at that a bit more closely. As we mentioned in the blended model, the model that's the more traditional model, the teachers do guide the students' learning throughout the regular school day. And so the parents involved, or whoever's at home or at the childcare is involved, but the teacher is really taking the active role. In the Granite Falls Virtual Academy, that is a shifted approach. So the teachers are definitely there to work with you, to have those regular meetings. They're monitoring the learning, they're providing feedback and remediation. But the adult who's working with the student or the older sibling, the learning coach takes on a more active role, because at the elementary level, they are supporting the child's learning. And then as we're transitioning up through the grades to get ready for secondary, that learning coach becomes more of a facilitator to help the student take more ownership and leadership for his or her learning. So if we're going to watch a video that just provides a little bit more information about being the learning coach or providing the learning coach support for our students at home.
This video will cover understanding the role of the learning coach, preparing a learning space and schedule, previewing courses and understanding course components, synchronous sessions, and other suggested activities. Understanding the role of the learning coach. A learning coach is a parent, family member, or other adult that is home with a student. The role of the learning coach is to guide the student through the lessons as needed, discuss concepts being taught, assist with interactive tools and games, oversee assignments, help facilitate hands-on learning that may be in the course, check for understanding on assignments, keep the student on schedule and on pace, ensure all components of the course are being done with fidelity, and communicate with teachers as needed. While these are picture-perfect ideas for setting up your home learning space, spaces can easily be set up to be multifunctional as well, from tables to small floating wall desks and shelves to closet desk transformations. Learning spaces today are not just a desk and a chair, and it's important to create a learning space that provides students the opportunity to move about as needed. Make sure the desk and chair allow the student to sit upright at the computer. Have other seating options in the room for students to move to do offline assignments, such as a comfy chair or beanbag for independent reading, a larger table with coloring supplies, glue and scissors for written work and projects, etc. Wall space to post a word wall, the 5-finger retail chart, and choosing a Just Right Book PDF document for frequent reference. And organizational bins for materials and supplies will make life easier too. Educational research and trends show the importance of scheduling your student's day. While virtual schooling does provide you the autonomy of flexible scheduling with your students are more likely to thrive with a predictable and consistent schedule. Here are a few samples. If for some reason your student is accelerating through content quickly and has other activities that limit the schooling time during the day, we suggest this as a minimum to work within the course content. Now let's review the importance of previewing courses and understanding course components. It's important to preview the courses your student's in. You'll preview a course by logging into your Observer account. A typical module will have lessons for the student to learn about the concept and practice the concept, assignments for the student to complete, and assessments that are either done in the course or done in a synchronous session with a teacher. Upon logging in, you and your student will see a dashboard with course cards that show progress and current grades and give access to course activities and gradebooks. The to-do list will show student activities due currently, upcoming, and past due to help keep them on track with progress. The activity stream will show students where they have left off and what they have recently submitted. Once you move into the course itself, you'll see the Learning Coach and Support Resource tab. Inside every course, there is a resource module. The resource module has a section for the Learning Coach to learn more about their role, as well as how to navigate through the platform. In addition to the resource module within each lesson, there's a Learning Coach tab. Clicking on it will provide the Learning Coach with information about the lesson, as well as if any materials are needed for that lesson. Students and Learning Coach will have support tools embedded into the courses in various spots. The Speech Stream tool will allow students to select passages on pages of content to read aloud. It also provides a dictionary, a picture dictionary, translation ability in 30+ languages, and a masked reader to help focus on smaller chunks of content. The Read Aloud speaker will identify places where content can be read aloud in a human voice. And the audio play button at the bottom will read aloud all of the content on pages within the courses. New for this academic school year is our Learning Coach support site. We know the importance of keeping you informed and providing resources to help your learning day move smoothly. This site will be accessible to you for items like learning more about your role as a learning coach, communicating with your teachers, how to navigate a course, check your students' grades, and even going beyond the coursework to accelerate, supplement, or remediate your students' learning. A ton of elementary curriculum resources will also be available, including what it looks like in a typical K-5 day, how-to guides and videos. And most importantly, module study guides will be available for our K-5 core courses, and will walk learning coaches through very specific guiding questions, suggested books to connect literacy to learning content, and even module outings that may wrap up culminating activities and real-world application for your students. Weekly automated progress reports will be sent to your Learning Coach email account. This will show you courses, teacher names, current scores, progress, and login dates to help ensure your student is keeping on track. Materials preparation will be a key to a successful learning day for you and your student. A materials list for each course is found in the resources section. General school supplies should be readily available. Materials are also noted on the Learning Coach tab of each lesson. If no materials are needed, they will not be listed. The Learning Coach should preview the lessons the student will be doing a week in advance in order to ensure the materials needed are readily available when that student encounters the lesson. K-5 will have audio practice activities. These will be accessible for your classroom teachers through the platform for fluency checks. They'll be asked to practice audio activities in each module, and the resource module will tell students how to record and submit audio in both the Learning Coach section and the Getting Started section. For independent reading in grades K-3, we require 30 to 40 minutes per day from a Just Right book. Students record on their reading log the book that they read and answer a few questions about the book, and then they'll submit their weekly reading logs and independent reading questions to their teacher. It is important for learning coaches to help guide students into selecting just right books. Very easily, you can use the 5-finger rule to support your student. The independent reading will then be used as part of the language arts reading assignments for reading logs and questions. Part 1 of the assignment, the student will fill out the reading log for the week. Part 2 of the assignment, The student will answer the reading log questions for the book they read that week. Learning coaches should discuss the book with students before completion of their assignments. The documents can be typed in and saved and downloaded for submission into the Dropbox. In grades 4 and 5, there will be novel studies. Students choose 2 books to read from a list of 3 books each semester. Novel study guides are included for each book, and learning coaches should discuss their novels with their students. These types of assignments will also be submitted into the Dropbox. Assignments will be submitted through the Dropbox when called out in courses for Show Dropbox. Assignments are found in each lesson. When there is an assignment, an activity button will appear on the lesson page. Clicking on the activity button will pull up a PDF document for the student to print, or workbooks are available if your school will provide them for offline activities. Submitting assignments is easy. In the resources module of every course, the Learning Coach lesson or Getting Started lesson, there's a video that shows how to submit assignments. Be sure to watch it with your student. For K through 3, many of the PDF documents will either be printed or you can submit them from the workbook if your school provides them. As student moves up in grade levels, they may encounter PDFs that they can type in. The resources module will explain how to save and submit these documents in the Getting Started activity. The K through 3 weekly language arts assignments are here and called out specifically for how to submit them. At the end of the week, you'll see a wrap-up of what students should be submitting, and the showing Dropbox symbol will note that students must submit assignments. Synchronous sessions. Each week in grades K through 3, or every other week in grades 4 through 5, students will meet with their teachers by phone or an LMS where they can screen share. It will last 30 to 60 minutes. Teachers will administer spelling tests, synchronous benchmark assessments, reading level assessments, go over grades and submitted work, and discuss with the student what they're learning. This is also an opportunity for remediation. The learning coach should sit in on these sessions in order to be aware of what's being discussed. Listen for any tips the teacher may be giving the student so that they can be reinforced by the coach, as well as ask any questions that they may have. Remember, sync session opportunities, frequency, and requirements may vary by your school program. We talked about some of the other suggested activities when creating a schedule, but here's a bit more detail of each of them. The morning meeting. It's important to keep young students on a schedule. Morning meeting is a time to meet with your student and discuss certain topics to start that day. They last about 15 to 20 minutes. In grades K through 2, you can talk about the calendar, days of the week, tomorrow, the next week. For grades 3 through 5, you can discuss special events for the day or things happening that week. Discuss what season, what clues outside tell us the season. Discuss the weather, discuss current events that are student appropriate, and review goals for the day. Brain breaks. After a student finishes a subject, give them a break. Anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, longer if they need a snack, shorter if they don't. The break should be structured and planned, but should include activities that allow the student to move and have fun. Research on brain breaks or online ideas that will get the student moving. Check out Go Noodle. It's an excellent website for this. Lunch and free time. Schedule lunch and free time into the day. Make it a 40-minute session. The student can eat lunch for 20 minutes and then get 20 minutes of free play. Free play should not be structured as it is a break from the learning day. And the afternoon meeting. This is a culmination of your day to wrap it up. Another 15 to 20 minutes. Discuss the goals that were accomplished. What was the best part of the day? What did they enjoy learning the most? What did they feel they need more help with? And set goals for tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
So we've shared an overview, as we mentioned at the start, an introductory presentation, and you may have many more questions. We do have a frequently asked questions document available on our website, and we encourage you to give us a call or to email with any questions that you might have so that we're able to support you as you think through the best fit for your child for next year. This final slide just gives us sort of a look at some of the highlights of the program. We use an intuitive interface the learning is connected with real life and is interactive. And then we really work to help the students to think critically, to problem solve, be creative, and apply the learning that they're doing. So as we move to the conclusion of this presentation, we wanted to share with you, as you are ready to think ahead and possibly make some decisions, once you're ready to enroll, we have some information on our website that supports that, and we're just going to show you how that works. There is a click to enroll button, and then that just gives us the information to show that you are interested in the Granite Falls Virtual Academy. And this allows us then to plan ahead for you. So once you've made that decision to enroll, we're able to begin sending you invitations to more planning sessions, welcome back to school events, virtually, of course, for now, and just all the other information that you need to prepare for the start of the school year. And that also helps us with planning, of course, as we're staffing both of the schools. And then once you've clicked to enroll and provided that information, then the next step is if you are a current student, your children, if your student was attending the school district last year, then you go to the green tab, the one that's lower down, for current student annual updates, and just update the information. So we know the contact information is the information that you want us to have. If you are new to the district, we welcome you. We're happy that you're here with us now, and you would complete the new student enrollment, and then we would be able to follow through on the process of requesting records, or if you've been homeschooling up till now, we'll have an opportunity to meet with you and ensure a smooth transition to Granite Falls. So we are just delighted that you have joined us for this presentation, and we are really here to serve and support you. Our intent is to make this a really positive year for your child, for your family, and we want to provide the information, the discussion, whatever it is that will best help you to make the decisions that you want to make for next year, and then to support you as you move forward. So thank you again for being here, and we look forward to being in touch soon. Goodbye.